It's not in the face! Thank you.
Hello and welcome to Hey, Not the Face with your host, John Nash, and your producer, me, Steffi Haynes. And today we are going to bring you a mini-sode about boxing, specifically about the Saudis in boxing and about last night's Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia fight. First, let's check in with John and find out what he thought of Haney versus Garcia.
Boy, did I call that one, didn't I? Just nailed it.
I think a lot of us were caught off guard by how well Ryan looked in there.
Yeah, he looked great. I mean, it was a very people didn't see when we were recording the Sunday, so the night after the fight. So Saturday night it happened. It was much more entertaining than I expected it to be. And the question, I guess the big question everybody has is, Garcia kind of pretends that he was putting on an act. I'm not sure that was an act.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I think that he just let everything hang out.
Yeah. Also, it's possible that he is that he has some mental health issues, that that he's functional with them. And he's also a functional alcoholic, drug addict, whatever, because, maybe that's a secret formula, cocaine and booze. Well, but he was saying he was drinking the whole time during training, showed up, but also strangely, Haney, the one impressive thing about Haney is he got knocked out, he actually won most of the rounds, but when he got hurt bad, but he stuck to the fight. He lasted to the end. So it was just a surprise. I was on pins and needles for a lot of the fight.
Indeed. I would say with Ryan that I don't know about the functioning alcoholic part. And the reason why I say that is because he put out a tweet, which he deleted like literally moments later. It was just apple juice and sparkling water. So I went back and I watched that weigh-in again. And sure enough, he walks out from the back with the bottle in his hand already open. Now, that would have been in competition, and something tells me that Derek James wouldn't allow his guy to go out there and just throw everything away like that. So I'm wondering if his little tweet and delete spree was something that was truthful, because Ryan strikes me, he's 25 years old. He strikes me as a guy that wants desperately to be cool. I drank every night and I still whipped your ass. I smoked too and I still whipped your ass. He just strikes me as that kind of person. Now, this is just my opinion. I also feel like he probably has something else going on, but I don't know if he's a functioning alcoholic. I have to look a little closer at that before I just say, hey, he's an alkie and he's doing fine.
Yeah. The thing is that one, he's a YouTuber, hangs around the Paul brothers. And so he's by profession a troll.
Yeah.
And so that's what makes it hard, because on one, he's playing psychological warfare against Haney. He's a YouTube troll. He's doing a bunch of motivations to be faking it. On the other hand, he could be faking it, that means, but that's indistinguishable from actually having problems.
For sure.
From the outside, I can't tell the difference.
And a lot of us can't. I just try and weigh every little single thing that I see. And it just strikes me as, a little shady when he puts out that tweet and immediately deletes it like he thought better of it. Like maybe it wouldn't make him look as cool if he admitted that it was apple juice and sparkling water.
Yeah, I hope it was an act. I hope everything's an act.
Me
that
too.
would be genius if it was, but I have my suspicions it wasn't. I did like that Tank Davis. I saw a screen grab of a tweet, so maybe it was a fake, maybe it wasn't. But afterwards he said, "Hey, I'm in New York. I can't remember what he said, like Colt 45 and cocaine on me tonight." So I mean, he's tweeting it to the world, so obviously I think it's supposed to be humorous. I mean, I don't think he's being serious as well. But I thought it was funny, like that is your secret spinach, Popeye. Well, it's on me tonight for that performance.
Yeah. We've obviously discussed how surprised we were by the outcome, but I'm curious what kind of business you think that fight did. What late pay-per-view buys, because they certainly stretched it out. You know, they were supposed to make their ring walks at 11 p.m. Eastern, and we didn't get the ring walks until, I believe, a little after midnight Eastern.
Yeah, there's a possibility. Now, one thing is that they see a bunch of buys coming in, and so they delayed to get more.
Mm-hmm.
The other possibility is buys were so bad, they're like, we got to delay to get something, right?
Right.
I suspect it's a combination of both. One is the gate. It was priced for a $14 million gate originally, sold out. They had trouble selling the tickets. I think at the end they were claiming it was sold out, but they cut ticket prices. Who knows what they did, how many they comped. So the gate is obviously much lower than 14, but I don't think it's like a bottom of the barrel gate. I think it probably did 50%, let's say, what it was supposed to. So the gate sold something, just not what they thought. What's interesting, I also don't really think it did gangbusters on pay-per-view for the simple fact that DAZN is not the best platform for selling to people right now. It's just not well known in America. It doesn't have a massive subscription base here, so it can appeal to people directly. So it's not the best platform, even though they sell them outside of DAZN. You can get the pay-per-view. It's very hard to sell stuff on DAZN. But I know people like AJ on Twitter. He was keeping track. One is the YouTube, the view counts for clips. Then he went to pirated streams, right? And that's why he measures. He just has it's not scientific, but he measures and compares it to like Tank versus Garcia. And it was lower than Tank versus Garcia, but it was much higher than most other boxing events, right? On the number of links to pirated streams, and the chats on those streams were, huge numbers of people. So it seems that there was a lot more interest in it than I suspected there would be. I don't know how many people actually paid though, because often buying a pay-per-view involves having a party. That's kind of the thing. If there's an event that you're going to have people over, then you buy it because you don't want to lose the stream. So I don't know how many it actually sold, but there was interest. I think, I'm sure DAZN did not sell a ton of pay-per-views on this, but I also think that they might have been pleasantly surprised at the attention and intrigue it brought and the potential for future events. So mixed bag for them.
Part of the problem with DAZN is that they came out supposed to be the pay-per-view killer. Subscribe to us and you'll never have to buy a pay-per-view from us. And then 3 years later, it wasn't even 3 years later, they've nearly doubled their subscription price at that time. But then they started hosting up pay-per-views, and now we've just got another DAZN increase. I believe it's like $24.99 a month now, and you have to buy pay-per-views on top of it. So I can understand why DAZN hasn't caught on as big as it thought that it was, because they patently lied to their public and to their clientele.
Also, they do not have any real American sports on it that people feel compelled to have DAZN for.
Right.
If you're on ESPN Plus, there's a bunch of other stuff besides the UFC or Top Rank. So there's a reason to get ESPN Plus, and then you're like, well, I can watch the weekly Top Rank card or whatever every other week. For DAZN, if you're an American, you're kind of getting it exclusively for boxing.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, I'm paying for this, but your biggest events, your biggest cards are going to be on pay-per-view. And I got to pay it, which I can get somewhere else instead of through DAZN, and I got to pay $24 a month for this. It's
$24.99 plus tax.
Oh, well, yeah. So it's just, you got to pay basically a UK pay-per-view price.
Right. And then pay for the pay-per-view on top of it. And that's just bullshit when payperview.com, ppv.com is out there and they just offer these big boxing matches. I can't remember what this one sold for, but I know that the last big one sold for like $69, which was roughly about what you pay for your monthly and the $40 that they charged for one of the pay-per-views. I believe it was Ngannou and Joshua. Payperview.com sold it for almost the same price that it was going for through DAZN. So, I mean, there are other outlets out there you can watch them on, but I'm kind of pissed off with DAZN. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it's understandable. And it's because it doesn't have a massive subscription base, because there's not much else to watch. Like HBO and Showtime, before, and they're also part of huge conglomerates, right? So they can run advertising not just on HBO or Showtime. Showtime could do it on CBS Radio, CBS Sports, and you could build shoulder programming to help sell the pay-per-view. Same with HBO, Discovery. So the zone's self-contained, so they have to pay for outside advertising, which is expensive. So they don't go nuts on that. Or they spend, basically what everybody else does, but it doesn't give them that big a footprint. And then they do in-house constant promotion on DAZN. But again, who's watching DAZN?
Right. We also have the Saudis sticking their toe into the water a little bit. But over the weekend, we saw them go a little further than a toe, because it looks like maybe they're planning some events here in the States now. So why don't you break down what exactly is going on with the Saudis in boxing, because it's starting to get a little confusing who's doing what.
Yeah, the Saudis, I mean, everybody got excited. They got into boxing, they got into the heavyweights, but it was basically putting events on and just spending a ton of money, putting events on in Saudi Arabia, right? And when I say a ton of money, I guess the one hurdle for them is they couldn't match, and I've talked to people in the industry, the one thing they offer a bunch of money, but they can't match like US pay-per-view amounts, right? So if you're a huge pay-per-view star like Canelo, it's hard to go to Saudi. Saudis have to offer just a tremendous amount of money because he can sell so many pay-per-views in the U.S. that he makes a ton of money. Tank Davis the same. So probably Ryan Garcia now, and some other guys. So they're going to make a fortune in the U.S. It's going to be hard for the Saudis, or I guess not hard. They could, but they would have to offer just a ton of money. And right now they're offering a large amount of money, but they're basically beating out the UK pay-per-view market, which just doesn't make as much as the US. So they put on these events, and talking to some people, I had a theory that
to access the bonus content of this episode, you must be a paid subscriber. To do that, go to heynottheface.substack.com and subscribe today.
Ow! Ow! Not the face! Ooh! Ooh! Okay, the face!